Hi, welcome to the Culinary Cam YouTube channel. I'm going to do a little roasted salmon. This is the easiest roasted salmon. I make it all the time, especially when salmon is in season. And we are going to do a fresh cranberry salsa with cranberries and orange, and then a bread stuffing with marble rye, which I had no idea that this bread was seasonal until I tried to get it not around the holidays, and was shocked to discover that they only carry this like Thanksgiving to Christmas. So whenever I see it, I buy it, and we make stuffing all the time. And in this case, I'm going to use it in a side dish for the salmon. Okay, let's get started. Line your baking sheet with a parchment paper and put your salmon skin side down. So flesh side up, and high quality ingredients are key. So I'm going to use a sea salt, fleur de sel, and what I have in my grinder is this single origin pepper from Diaspora Spice Company that I got at Quail and Olive. I love all of their spices. Just so aromatic and fresh. So grind that pepper over your salmon, a little pinch of salt. And then the other ingredient I found that was totally inspiring to me is this Fennel Pollen from Wineforest that Quail and Olive carries. To me, Fennel Pollen is like culinary fairy dust. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on the salmon as well. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of orange rind on these. This is not beloved by my family, but I like it and I think they're pretty. Then I have some fresh thyme from our garden, just enough to add a little bit of flavor. I went into the Quail and Olive shop in Carmel Valley and got inspiration from her holiday gift packs. So you can create a combination of whatever two oils that you want. And I was inspired by her pomegranate vinegar and blood orange olive oil for this meal. Now, in order to have a sort of continuity of flavor in all the dishes, I'm going to use these two throughout, and it just pulls everything together. And so that is a great tip that you can use when you're creating multiple dishes. If you use the same flavors throughout, it just draws it all together. So the oven's preheated to 425 degrees, and it's just 15 minutes. So again, this is super fast. You can do this on a weekday, and it just feels a little bit festive and holiday-ish. So for cranberry sauce, I know there's a lot of people who really like the cooked gelled cranberry sauce in a can that when you pull it out, it still has the ridges. I'm not a fan, but I love making fresh cranberry sauce or cranberry relish. You need just a few ingredients and a food processor or a blender, and you can process it and pulse it to the consistency that you like. I like mine a little bit more pesto-like, so it's going to have a little bit of texture. It's not going to be a puree. So I have one 12-ounce package of organic cranberries, one organic orange chopped up. And the reason I say organic is because you are using the peel and you don't want orange rind that has pesticides in your food that you're actually eating. I have 1 teaspoon of sugar and half a teaspoon of salt, and then just the juice from 1 orange. So I actually took the rinds off because I'm going to use it as a garnish for the dish later, and I just need the juice for this one. So I'm just going to squeeze the juice. And then, like I said, I was inspired by this oil and vinegar combination. So blood orange, I'm just going to add in a glug or 2 of olive oil, and then a similar amount of the vinegar. And like I said, I'm using the pomegranate vinegar. Okay, so you have all of the ingredients in the bowl of your food processor, and pulse it just a few times, and I will be right back to show you how I like it. You can do it a little more or a little less depending on what you like. Okay, so you can see the texture that I have in here. I just pulsed it in the food processor until it was the consistency that I like, and then I'm just going to turn it out into a bowl and set it aside while we do the rest of the meal. So I mentioned I really love marble rye for my stuffing, but you can use any bread. Sourdough is great, rye, regular rye, even cornbread, but I love the marble rye, and so when I get it, I use it for stuffing, and I just break it up into clumps, and this is about half a loaf, so 8 slices or so. So this stuffing, I'm calling it stuffing, but it isn't actually stuffed into anything. Super easy. So I just use whatever oil I want, and in this case, I really like using this vegan bacon oil from Quail and Olive because it gives it that meatiness without actually adding any meat or bacon to it. So if you're serving this meal to a pescatarian as an example with the salmon, you can still get that really meaty flavor without any meat. So oil, you need a cup of onions, a cup of celery, and a cup of carrots. And then you're going to cook that in the oil. Then you're going to melt in a stick of butter. I know, it's a lot of butter. Stick of butter, and you're going to put in the bread and then just stir it until it comes together, and that is your stuffing. Super easy. So the last step of the stuffing is to get in there with your hands and really kind of get those pieces of bread to clump together. If I'm doing it for other people, I put gloves on, but if it's just for my family, I just wash my hands really well and make sure that the stuffing is cool enough or has cooled off enough that I'm not going to scorch my hands. And then I'm just going to go in and, ooh, it is still kind of hot. Yeah. That's hotter than I thought. I guess I touched the top part. Okay. You can see the steam coming off of it. I guess I only touched the top part. I'm going to try it with a spatula. This is kind of mushing it, mashing it together the way I like the texture of stuffing. And you can see the steam coming off. I did just burn my hands. Okay, so that got it mostly combined. I'm just going to give it a squeeze, kind of bring it together so it has that texture of stuffing. If you actually cook stuffing in a bird, then it does have, it clumps together. So this is cool enough that I can do that. So there you have my super easy holiday inspired meal with some blood orange olive oil and pomegranate vinegar from Quail and Olive. It's an oven roasted salmon with cranberry relish and a marbled rice stuffing. If you like this video, please click like and definitely hit that notification subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos.